Yo, what's up, what's up? I recently bought this beautiful 2014 Sierra Denali. I got a great deal on it because it had the 3 R's: repoed, rusted, and wrecked. It may look nice in these pictures, but it was far from it. The truck came with these ridiculous 26-inch wheels, so I sold them immediately. Alright, so last week I sold my Jeep Wrangler and instantly went to the auction to buy this. Believe it or not, this is my dream truck. It's a 2014 GMC Sierra Denali crew cab with a 6.2 V8. Now, I got $16,000 for the Jeep, and I like the Jeep a lot, but for the money I had into it, I figured I'd buy something that I really want, and this truck is it. So it has just over 112,000 miles on it, so pretty good miles for the year. It came with the most ridiculous wheels that you've ever seen, 26-inch dubs, literally called dub baller wheels. Can't make that up. So I got rid of those. I got $1,500 for those wheels and found a set of factory Denali wheels that are in okay shape. I have about $440 into this setup. So not bad at all. It looks okay from this side, but if you come around, you can see you got the back bumper. Needs to be replaced. I already ordered a new one. And then, goo! Look at that. That's what we call smushed in the biz. So it needs 2 doors, definitely. You know, anybody says you can fix them, sure, yeah, you can fix anything, but it's gonna be all Bondo. I'd rather just have nice doors. I'm planning to buy a uniside, which is the cab corner, rocker, center post, roof rail, all in one, and then you just trim and section the piece that you need, so it'll be all brand new as well. Again, I don't want a ton of Bondo on this truck. I am gonna be repairing the bedside because it's not on the terrible side, but you know, definitely gonna be some work. And then this front fender as well. You could see the front door was chewing it all up. So I had to use the spoon dolly, work it back out, get the shape I needed. So this I got for $8,300 and then sold the wheels for $1,500. So all in all, I'm like about $7,000 into this truck, maybe a little over $7,000. But I'm gonna have my dream truck real soon, so stay tuned. I'm ordering some new parts now. All right, so my first part came in, which is this rear door I got from LKQ. Believe it or not, it was still like $760. I was able to negotiate a little off because it had a little bit of a roll right there, but they wanted $865 for this originally. I got them down to $760, which I guess I'll take it. But these doors come off super easy. They're just heavy as a bastard. So I'm gonna pop this one on, just see how it looks and closes. And eventually I am gonna buy that uniside panel like we were talking about, so stay tuned. New door installed, looks good, lines up good all around the top and to the front door. Oh, maybe not. Yeah, well, that's damage in the front door. You can't really. All right, the time has come to finally get going on my Sierra Denali. I got these new key fobs because it was a repo, so it only had repo keys. But I got the fob all programmed. Oh, you like that? No exhaust on this thing. Finally getting started on my 2014 GMC Sierra Denali. Believe it or not, this is the nice side. So we got blown out rocker panel right there in a typical New England GM truck. Bought a full rocker panel right there. It's gonna be replaced the right way. I got rid of those 26s. These are just some rollers for the meantime. Got a new rear bumper for it because it's got that little dingus. Over here is the rough side. Bedside smushed in. Cab corner, rocker, destroyed. So I bought the full uniside panel. I'm not even gonna try to fix this. I'm just replacing it fully. The rear door was blown out, so I got that already replaced. That was easy to change, probably 15 minutes. Gonna be replacing the front door and the front fender as well. But overall, this is gonna be a real nice truck very soon. Update, I got the rear bumper off, got the receiver hitch off, got the tailgate off, got the bed unbolted. The bed's ready to pull, taillights are unplugged, filler neck is unhooked. I'm gonna pull those rear mud flaps and the little front mud flaps, spats, whatever you want to call them, because I'm going to be setting this down on the ground, maybe on a dolly, maybe on a stand. I'm winging it, so we'll see what happens. The bed's all hooked up with my Husky ratchet straps, each rated for 500 pounds. Taillights, electronics are all unplugged. Fuel filler neck has been detached. Let's go for it. All right, we're gonna look underneath and make sure I'm not pulling on anything. The bed is off. I'll either here we go. Unfortunately, this is the harsh reality of living in New England. We've got a cross member here, completely separated. Got a cross member here, completely separated, and that holds up the gas tank and the rear suspension. The shock absorbers mount to it. This one supports the entire spare tire. Separated on both sides, as you can see there. This one also completely separated on both sides. So what is holding up this gas tank? I don't know. The rails themselves actually look pretty solid, and I already knew this going into it. So I bought both of those cross members, and I've replaced them plenty of times. So I've got all of the electrical harness and connectors, trailer brake controller, everything electrical removed off the rear section of the frame. I have it tucked up right here for now with the fuel filler neck. I'm gonna park it tomorrow, unhook everything around the fuel pump, and get the full harness out of the way so everything on the frame is exposed, because this baby's getting sandblasted tomorrow. So here it is all sandblasted. My man Jeff over at JCR did a killer job. The thing is spotless, so clean now. He obviously did not do the cross members because I'm replacing them, so we don't have to. You can see there, the exhaust was ripped off, so we're just hearing open pipe right there. That cross member is also getting replaced, so that will be taken care of. But overall, the frame looks like it's in great shape. Usually these shackles go, but these look pretty good. So he went all the way under the truck too, into the frame down there. So next on the list are those cross members, then coating the frame. Then it's gonna be doing all the body work to this side, replacing the uniside, the front door fender, doing all the paint work and getting the bed back on. So now the truck's back in the shop. It's all cleaned up, stripped down, looking good. I'm so psyched about this. Even the rear axle, it's gonna be like brand new. Priming everything with an epoxy primer and then using like a chassis black paint or a rust-proof paint. We'll see, you know, what I come up with. But here we have the 3 rear cross members. This one is that back section right there. Don't think I actually need it. Not sure if I'm gonna replace it. But these 2 I definitely need. And believe it or not, I got both of these on Amazon, and they have super good quality. Like this sits right on top of the frame rail, so you literally can't put it in the wrong spot. You, either plasma cut or chop out the old tube and slide this one right through the rail. Then it's got a sandwich plate on the other side that you MIG welded all around. These shock mounts are beautiful, heavy duty steel. It's got the gas tank mount on that side. And so you just cut out the old ones, slide in the new ones, and weld them all up. So stay tuned and see how it goes. First cross member is completely welded in. You got these steel reinforcing plates on both sides. The inner ones have 90s that go up over the top rail, which is pretty awesome. That one comes pre-welded. So does the shock mount, very cool. These are much heavier duty than the factory tubes too, so I don't expect these to rot out anytime soon. I kept the factory spare bracket there, welded it along the top. It had a couple of stress cracks, so I took care of those, reinforced it on the corners here. But it is looking good. Rear cross member done. Getting started on that one next. I just dropped the gas tank so I can chop the rest of that one out. Just pops right out. Ooh. So I just finished welding. Everything's looking solid. I'll be honest, I'm a better grinder than I am a welder. Here's what it looks like all ground down. You can see, for all the welding nerds, those ones look all right. I had to weld this exhaust hanger here on this cross member. So yeah, they're all structural. Both cross members are in and solid. Now it's time to grind and paint. Epoxy primer is all sprayed. Looking black as hell. Oh yeah. Generous coverage everywhere. I did about 2.5, 3 coats. The rear axle, oh my gosh, looks brand new. Look at those frame rails. Oh, hell yeah. Cross members, primo. Now I'm gonna do a rust-proof paint called Rust Shield, made by Sem. I'll show you a picture of that before I pour it in the gun. All right, this here is the paint that I'm spraying over the epoxy primer that I just laid down. Give it about an hour or so, 40 minutes to an hour, and you're good to paint right over that epoxy primer. Other than that, Sem makes really good products. They also make this one, Rust Trap. I like that when I'm painting over a previously rusted surface, something that's still rusted. Rust Shield is better to go over something that you want to prevent rust from, but doesn't really have an excessive amount of rust currently. So, since we stripped all the rust off, I'm going with Rust Shield instead of Rust Trap. Also, this stuff is good right out of the can, so all you have to do is mix it up, pour it right in the gun, but you can reduce it if it's a little thick, which I think I'm gonna do. Probably reduce it a little bit. That actually will get me a little bit more product too, so we'll see how it goes. All right, it's the morning after, and I'm questioning my decisions from last night because now I'm just left with a mess. Nah, I'm just kidding. I use protection. All right, the electrical harness is in. All the factory clips are back in their locations. This one, I think I have to drill some holes in the cross member to get these little Christmas tree retainers to lock in. That's exactly what I did on this rail here. You know, not what I wanted to have to do is drill holes in this, but I did coat them with paint, and I'm gonna coat the inside of the rail with fluid film to hopefully prevent rust. Got the brake lines all fastened, the rear wheel speed sensors all fastened. I believe this is a trailer brake controller, but what the hell do I know? This rear hub, bus, whatever you wanna call it, is all hooked up and mounted up. I put brand new hardware on everything. I got my ground right here ready to go. I always like to clean up the ground, metal on metal. So I ground that all down. Ooh, so shiny. And that's gonna bolt up right there, locks into its factory location. I even bought all this brand new hardware to help keep it from rusting and not worry about reusing old junk. Beautiful. And I'll spray a little black around that just to keep it from rust. Update. Electrical harness is in. Brand new Rancho shocks in. Gas tank about to go in. Kind of a pain in the ass to do it by yourself, so I got it set up on a couple of toolboxes, and I'm just gonna lower it. Oh, let's see. Don't crush my plastic toolboxes. Ooh. Ooh. Harness is in, shocks are in, fuel tank is in, all hooked up, all the lines, connectors, had to drill the holes to get these little retainers in, ground my ground, grinded my ground, however you want to say it. Let's see if she's gonna go. Anything? Nothing. Try again. Whoa! Okay. Glad I caught that. Sprayed fuel everywhere, no big deal. All right, just like Forrest Gump said, shit happens. This fuel line right here wasn't clipped on entirely. It had a little rust on this bung, nipple, whatever you want to call it. Had a little rust right there, so it didn't click on exactly how it should. So I wire wheeled it, cleaned it all up, lubed it, made sure all the tabs that lock on were in place, and I heard the click when it went on. So learn from my mistakes. Do as I say, not as I do. Make sure that clicks when it pops on. Now, let's give it a shot. yeah. Believe it or not, I'm only on day 3, and I'm pretty satisfied with how much I got done so far. I put the tailpipe section back on here. It's got the factory resonator, and the exhaust was broken off. So I did a nice clean cut there, and another one on this pipe. So I need to bridge the gap from here to there. And what did I buy? A new Borla muffler. So this is not quite big enough to bridge the gap. So I got a couple of extension pipes from AutoZone, and we'll see how it goes. All right, exhaust is kind of mocked up. I'm by no means an exhaust fabricator, but this looks like it's gonna work. Slips right into the pipe there. I'll weld that all up. Got a joint here. Got 2 joints I gotta weld up there. And then this one is questionable. It's gonna have a little bit of an elbow to it, but hey, screw it. Let's run it. All right, I got the first couple of joints just tacked together. Did a couple of welds on each side. Came out decent. So I'm gonna finish weld these 2 joints right there, so I don't have to do it on the truck. But then obviously this side and that side I do have to do on the truck. All right, these 2 joints are fully welded up. Looking pretty decent, you know. Like I said, I'm a better grinder than I am a welder. But they're solid, they're not gonna leak, and now they're not gonna rust either. Custom. All right, the muffler's in, all welded up. It was nice having the bed off because I had full access to weld it all around. Hopefully there are no leaks. Let's hear it. Oh, that sounds good. Very nice. Day 3, and I feel like I honestly accomplished a lot for 3 days work. Maybe it's a brag, maybe I'm just proud of myself. Either way, who cares? So I've got the new exhaust all taken care of. Rear shocks all installed. Frame completely sandblasted, stripped. Both cross members here and here replaced. Gas tank back in, electrical harness all good. Frame coated underneath. This is going to be a brand new truck very soon. Now I do have to replace the rocker panel on that side, and then I've got all the body work to do on this side. So I do have the cab corner and rocker. That door has already been replaced. This door I'm going to replace, but they gave me a white one, so I have to completely strip it, paint it inside and out. And then I have a new fender as well, and then I'll be upgrading the wheels. For now, I'm trying to get rid of that stink. I did clean the interior quite a bit, but I always have pretty good luck with these Ozium stink bombs. You run the AC on recirculate and let one of these go off for about 15 minutes or so, and it gives it a nice minty smell. So already smells a lot better inside. Fender's off, not gonna lie, that was kind of a huge pain in the ass, but it's off, and I was able to do it while still keeping the hood on and keeping the front bumper on. Probably would have been better to take them off, but I don't have a ton of place to store all these parts and keep them nice, so I'm just gonna leave them mounted to the truck and work around them. Next up is this front door. Now that the fender's off, I can actually access the hinges and the harness there. So I'll be pulling the front door next, and then the rear door was super easy to put on, so that'll only take a minute to pull off. Front door, off, no sweat. Rear door, soon to be off, no sweat. Now I am drilling out all the spot welds along the top of the rocker panel. I have a special spot weld drill bit. The tip is kind of shaped like a W. If you see it's got a point in the center, that helps you keep it perfectly centered in the spot weld, and then it cuts a circle around the perimeter of it. So you got to be careful not to drill through. Oh, that was just the drill bit setting in. And you can see it already started cutting a perfect circle around the outside of the spot weld. And you want to drill through the first panel, but not the panels behind it. And that's the goal. Just to break the weld on the first panel, that way it separates nice and easy. Okay, so I've got the majority of the spot welds drilled out, and it was a little tedious. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to salvage, you don't need to see my VIN. I'm not going to be able to salvage the VIN tag. So I am going to cut that out and probably just like tape around the edges to save the original one. I also had to use the coarse wheel to strip out any of the seam sealer along this back panel. The thing that I didn't account for and didn't realize is that this whole back panel seems to be the last one put on, because it's got a lap joint here, and this right here where you see all these spot welds is actually this panel. So this one's on top of this one, which is unfortunate. So I'm either going to have to cut it out and then make my lap joint over this one, or I'm going to have to peel this back and then put it back over it, which I feel like is just going to destroy this panel. So I'm going to have to get a little crafty here. All right, I taped out a rough line of where I'm going to section the new panel, basically just past all the damage. I don't want to replace anything I don't have to, so let's see if I can do this one-handed. Looks like there was some stress on the panel. It moved as soon as I cut it. I've started separating the panel. I got the rear of the cab corner separated and cut right there. I got my chisel or panel separator, seam buster, whatever you want to call it. I got that started, and all you do is where all the spot welds were, start tapping this down, and it's going to split the panel apart. Here's my brand new factory GM uniside. Ooh, there's a GTR. And here's what I've done so far. I've got most of the panel separated, all the spot welds drilled out, my seam buster splitting everything apart. All I have left is this front leading edge, and the rocker on the bottom is pretty well rotten, so I'm just gonna kind of rip it apart and then clean up the edge, weld through primer, and start mocking up the new panel. I've got the new panel and the old panel butted up against each other. Doesn't really fit too snug on the backside because that's where it's so horribly damaged. But the rest of the spots, it does butt up pretty nicely. So I kind of marked where I'm gonna have to cut it. I'm gonna do probably a couple cuts just to be safe and then mock it up. But I'm marking where I cut the old panel. The tape line is where I'm gonna cut first, just to be a little generous and give myself an inch or two extra. And go from there. Got the weld through primer all sprayed. I used my angle grinder to clean up all the spots where the spot welds are gonna be, and had to hammer a couple of them flat to make sure everything mates up nice and clean. I did the SEM copper weld all along the spots where I'm gonna have the lap joints around here. And then I also have this zinc infused weld through primer that I got over at Napa. A little cheaper, because this stuff is like 50 bucks for a can. This one is only 20 bucks for a can. So I used that just to cover the inside of the panel. I wire wheeled a lot of the areas where there was some slight rust buildup, but it's looking good. So I'm almost ready to start trimming and fitting the new panel. All the rust has been cut out, weld through primer applied, and now I have the new panel somewhat mocked up. Not completely mocked up, but you can see I'm going to be just south of that door hinge. Right now I have it bolted up with that door hinge, but I'm cutting it right below that door hinge. I have to swap over the retainer for the striker from the other panel that I took out because there's nothing there, just an empty hole. And then I'm going to trim basically around that red line. And I think I'm going to be gluing and welding today. So I'm mainly going to be gluing this panel on with the panel bond adhesive 2-part epoxy, but I am going to be doing some plug welds, spot welds, whatever you want to call them. I've got this tool here, got it from Cornball a while ago, that pops holes in panels. So when you want to do a plug weld, you just put it on the panel, and there you go. So I'm going to do one there, one there, and I'm going to go around the outside, and there's my 3-year-old going crazy outside. The cab is all prepped, cleaned, ready to receive the new panel. The panel is all prepped, cleaned, ready to receive the 2-part epoxy panel bond adhesive. I actually have to clean all of this down to bare steel. Wherever you're going to put the panel bond adhesive, it adheres best to bare steel, especially with a little bit of like the grinder marks like that. It really gives us something to bite onto. I'm using the 3M for 3 million. That's how much it costs. I got a new gun, and I'm ready to start gluing and screwing. Actually welding. Trying to move quick. Panel bond adhesive is all installed, squirted, whatever you want to call it. Ready to install. Alright, the panel is installed. The glue is setting up. I've got some self-tappers down the backside holding it to the cab. I've got vice grips all along the bottom holding it in place. And I'm going to start welding it while the glue's still wet. That way I have that much more structure and I can use all my vice grips where I need them. My repair panel is all glued, welded, grinded, and ready to start filling. Ooh, it's looking good. I ended up overlapping this panel here instead of peeling this back because that was just going to cause more damage and heartache. Don't need it. So, it looks good. All sealed up. Just getting ready to put a little schmoo on it. That way you'll never be able to tell. Bodywork on the cab is complete. Got it all in primer, looking smooth as hell. Brand new rocker, no more rust. Cab corner is gorgeous. Where's the seam? You don't know. Seam sealer all applied. Oh, like the factory did. Oh yeah, no cut corners on this one here. Oh, just tripping over some stuff. No big deal. I put so much work into this truck that unfortunately I can't fit it all in one video. So stay tuned for part 2 where you can see all the paint and body work and the final product. Please be sure to like and subscribe.